Erling Haaland has climbed the ranks as one of the scariest strikers in the world, but that ascent has only made him some foes. Take a look at these 10 footballers who, for one reason or another, have grown to dislike the powerful forward, and let's take a look at the moments you might have missed. Number 1. Virgil van Dijk, the Premier League clash. Liverpool central defender and Haaland have always crossed paths on the field, especially in the Liverpool-Manchester City confrontations. At the moment, both players are seen as being some of the best in their positions. Every match is then a battle of the circus of strength and wits. They've been known to argue a lot sometimes, which, for example, has seen Van Dijk become a no-nonsense central defender and Haaland, who is only interested in scoring goals. Even a game from the 2021-22 English Premier League season became memorable when Haaland tried to bring out a fall in the Dutchman and, in return, Van Dijk let the Norwegian know that there is a new boss in town through a ruthless tackle. While Van Dijk has never come out to publicly disrespect each other, they carry a bitter disposition against the other every time they face each other on the football pitch. Number 2. Kalidou Koulibaly, the Champions League War. Koulibaly and Haaland first crossed paths more professionally when Dortmund played Napoli in the UEFA Champions League, and the two have been rivals ever since. Their clashes featured rough challenges, forward pushes, grappling, and lots of talking. Koulibaly, who is usually well-positioned and nearly impervious to attackers, felt personally threatened by Haaland's mauling approach to the game. In one that looked like a battle between two footballing giants, Haaland's powerful surges elicited a furious scowl from Koulibaly before a showdown at center circle. It could be clearly said that the conflict between the two was fierce and both refused to take a step back. For all the understanding, therefore, that Koulibaly may have Haaland's footballing prowess, the contempt is always plainly obvious the moment the two face each other on the pitch. Number 3. Neymar and PSG, the Instagram spat. It was evident during the 2020-21 UEFA Champions League season when Haaland stated that Paris is a city on Instagram after scoring 2 goals in a match between Borussia Dortmund and PSG, and the subsequent victory of Borussia Dortmund with the score line of 2-1. This was not well understood by Neymar and his PSG teammates as they were up for the contest in the second leg match. PSG had beaten Dortmund 2-0, and after the match, a group of players, including Neymar, imitated Haaland's meditation celebration. This trolling emerged as the PSG players took to posting celebratory pictures which angered Haaland. Even though Haaland has been pretty muted with his words, this incident illustrated that there is personal hatred off the field over a player who currently plays for one of football's most colorful figures. Number 4. Gabriel Magalhaes, Arsenal's heated duel. The last standoff between Gabriel and Haaland occurred in the English Premier League's confrontation between Arsenal and Manchester City. During this battle, animosity is depicted by a fight to show supremacy. Gabriel, the no-nonsense fullback, wasn't afraid to give the Norwegian hothead striker some close company, who is not one to step back either. Finally, the two faced each other in a one-on-one session, which was a rather tense, albeit short, task in which the two competitors had to be separated. Indeed, one might suppose that their conflict might have happened only during that particular match, but it's pretty obvious that Gabriel is not a fan of Haaland's bullish manners. Number 5. Aymeric Laporte, the City training rivalry. Haaland's arrival at Manchester City hasn't only created tensions on the pitch with rivals. Clubs have also claimed his disruptive influence is starting to manifest on the pitch with his own teammates. State chest and guard City strongman defender Aymeric Laporte was stumbled to have had some peremptory training sessions conflicts with Haaland. Laporte is not one to take kindly to being overshadowed, and with Haaland notably stealing some of his thunder in front of goal, a rivalry has apparently turned nasty. Whatever it is, whether it is a fight for dominance or a harmless rivalry adding tension, the animosity between two such titans is an exciting layer of complexity to the internal politics of the city. Number 6. Marco Reus and Borussia Dortmund, the quiet fallout. While Erling Haaland moved to Borussia Dortmund to Manchester City, there were some noises made suggesting that some players, particularly the older players, were not happy with how Haaland dealt with his transfer. Although Haaland had brilliant performances on the football field, his increasingly popularity and desire to move to a more popular club offended some. Haaland was reported as close to Dortmund, and Ramos, a legend, was said to have been especially angered by the decision, given his dependence during close call matches. While the club never released an official statement about the tension between Haaland and some of the more experienced Dortmund players, the rumors that circulated around the locker room were quite illuminating as well. Number 7. Kyle Walker, the Dortmund City rivalry. Kyle Walker and Haaland's rivalry dates back to when the latter was a part of Borussia Dortmund, and the former was expected to mark him in Champions League fixtures. Since both of them were the quickest players in the game, their showdowns were quite intense, and Walker would attempt to utilize his superior speed and situational awareness to counter Haaland's power. Still, they are not always being nice to each other on the pitch, with Walker sometimes applying some pressure on Haaland to be more submissive. Now, both playing for Manchester City, it's totally vague whether this rivalry has been set aside completely or if it remains a silent culprit. Number 8. Sergio Ramos, the defensive tyrant. In one of Real Madrid's Champions League matches against Borussia Dortmund in the year 2020, Haaland was rather aggressive, thus earning the wrath of the Madrid team captain Sergio Ramos. Haaland was always setting traps and provoking the Madrid defenders, and Ramos, who was not one to shy away from a fight, could not stand Haaland and was angered by his physical pushiness and constant hounding of the Real Madrid defenders. Tempers flared during a corner when the two got into the referee, which saw Ramos giving the Argentine a nasty glance. It was said that Ramos was angered by Haaland as the latter was too boastful and arrogant during the match, making believe that there was a beef between the two. Number 9. Jan Oblock, Atletico Madrid's giant between the sticks. The Norwegians, renowned for being an ever-present menace in the opposition penalty area, has been a recurring nightmare for shot stoppers. And few will have felt that burden more than Atletico Madrid's Jan Oblock. In one Champions League match against Borussia Dortmund and Atletico Madrid, Haaland dwarfed Oblock and left his defense flattened. Watching another brace delivered by Haaland, the media got a chance to see Oblock frowning at Haaland's overconfident goal celebrations. Apparently, Oblock felt that Haaland laughed at his playback, which made the two uncomfortable after the match when Oblock made some suggestions to the press that he was not happy with the striker's behavior. Number 10. Antonio Rudiger, the German antagonizer at Real Madrid. Another of Haaland's latest rivals is Antonio Rudiger, the uncompromising defender known for his tough tackling and psychological warfare. It could be considered that during the meeting in the 2022 season between Manchester City and Real Madrid, Rudiger set an individual goal to neutralize Haaland. The two were involved in a series of tough challenges, and Rudiger, as usual, employed some of them to contain the Norwegian striker. For once, the two started quarreling and began to exchange words. The referee was forced to calm them down. The media did not waste any moment to highlight how Rudiger enjoyed the fight, but was defeated by Haaland, who also appeared to be furious off the pitch. Of course, these 10 players don't despise Haaland, but their rivalries intensified their hatred and desire, making the games they contested hard to miss. When there are competitions, there are bound to be conflicts, and that is where Erling Haaland has generated some of his rivals. Think of heated Premier League battles against Virgil van Dijk or petty spats such as Neymar's Instagram flex. Haaland's aggressive approach and a continued surge on the football field has made him enemies all over football. If this peek into the rivalry between Haaland and other players intrigued you, don't stop here. Click on the next video to see some of the worst Premier League tackles and follow for more enticing football stories. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.